And today, Smooth, as we're going to be underway now, and it's the first of 4 quarterfinals in the MAC, 2 tonight and then 2 tomorrow. Tom Pecora is the back-to-back Coach of the Year in this league, but Quinnipiac hasn't shied away from these expectations this season.
And again, I like that, being a stand-up group, understanding we are here to win a MAC championship as Ingram goes to work in the post to start off this ball game.
The star of last night's game, Tariq Ingram, starts this scoring, and he is going to be key with that massive Quinnipiac front court of Monroe and Otieno. Ingram, so important to everything Ryder does, but especially tonight.
Eddie, in a game like this, you like when you have legit bigs, the officials allow them to play. Oftentimes in the MAC conference, you have smaller guys trying to play in the post, which puts a really difficult position on officials and players. In this case, look, you got big on big. Let them bump and grind down in that post.
Yeah, it's a great point you bring up, but Ingram threw it away. Here is Savion Lewis, the veteran, in the open floor, gets the scoring started for Quinnipiac.
As I stated earlier, he is super tough. He's looking to facilitate, but he will call his own number. Strong point guard.
Second in the league in assists, but not afraid to find his own scoring touch. One of the true veterans in the league, his 7th season at Quinnipiac. Bobcats in this position a season ago. Had a blowout win in the quarterfinals against Canisius. As this is their first taste of the action down here in Atlantic City this week. Here they come with the Player of the Year, Amari Monroe. Too strong, and a loose ball foul will go on the Bobcats.
Eddie, ideally, if you're Ryder, you want to come out aggressive, considering the Bobcats have not played just yet. You had a game last night, and you need to get used to the setting. Obviously, the Bobcats being on the floor for the first time.
Kevin Baggett, pretty familiar with this setting in this Ryder squad, leading them, to that win over Siena last night. Is Smooth. Ryder was down 13 in that game. I thought Kevin Baggett and crew did an amazing job helping the team come back.
Coach Baggs pushed all the right buttons to close out that basketball game last night.
That's Alexis Reyes with the good defensive play, but losing it out of bounds. And it'll stay here for second-year head coach at Quinnipiac, Tom Pecora. 2 years as the head man on the sidelines, 2 Coach of the Year honors.
TP, Coach Pecora, does a really good job, obviously, relating to his players. They love him.
All alone was Ruben Rodriguez. He was left to his lonesome under the basket.
And those are the easy ones Ryder has to really take advantage of.
Here's good Bobcat ball movement. Monroe stop and pop. Otieno on the glass. Get used to hearing that phrase a lot. Cross court fine. Zimmerman 3. Side rim. And the Bobcats still kind of working out the cobwebs in the early going.
And the point I was making earlier, Eddie, oftentimes if you can try to get the ball in the paint, get a close shot rather than settling for the 3 early.
And really, it's going to be important for Ryder against this Quinnipiac team, Smooth, to hit the glass.
Again, Ryder wants to attack the glass, keep it low numbers. Also, attack the rim. They dribble drive action really good. Quinnipiac, redeemed team, they want to come out here and prove a point and win this chip. And the last one game at a time. You can't win 2. Win the first one to get to the next.
Most important game in the tournament, like you said, is that first one to get it off your back. Those keys presented by Bally's Atlantic City as Otieno ties it up.
Eddie, it's so much easier to establish that post play because you have a legit in Paul. Score it there, the jumpers will start to come.
Flash Burton really took a star turn in this opening round win over Siena. He controls here, being hounded by Zimmerman. Rodriguez going to call for the screen, turns the corner, creates the open look. Zion Cruz, Weeks on the offensive glass. Physical down low. Ingram can't get it to fall. And there we go with Quinnipiac. Zimmerman lost it, but it went right to Monroe, who will shoot free throws.
Again, the officials are letting them play.
Early going in our first quarterfinal. Griffin talked about it. They are a motivated group.
They want to win this championship. They kept their core. You talk about Lewis, Monroe, Big Paul. All these guys came back. They could have gone somewhere else, but they are intent on winning a championship, a MAC championship specifically.
Really was remarkable to see that crew come back. It's so rare nowadays in really college athletics, not just basketball, to see so many important players return to the same team from one year to the next. Got to talk to Tom Pecora, figure out what's going on up in Hamden, because they came back stronger than ever.
And like I said, they like Coach TP. And it's important to know, Eddie, that we've said all along, this tournament is wide open. Any team can win. However, no disrespect to anyone, and give respect to Quinnipiac. They are the favorite. Anyone can win in a one-game situation. However, if this were the NBA, 7-game series, I would definitely pick Quinnipiac, but you never know on a given night what can happen.
That's a great point. It's what makes, and you made this point last night, it's what makes this tournament specifically so fun, right? We know that, you mentioned it, you got to win to advance out of this conference championship, and what makes these games just so special.
Again, we're not talking about quad 1 wins, quad 2 wins, at large bids. You need to win this tournament to get in.
Rodriguez now to Weeks to beat the shot clock. And the rebound to Lewis. Lewis always has the head up, finding Monroe. And Zimmerman able to clean it up to push the Bobcat lead to 3.
One of the better freshmen in our league. Zimmerman has fresh legs. You love that he goes to the offensive glass, and if he gets out in transition, he will flush it hard.
Otieno got a hand on it. Heads up play by Reyes, 3-on-2. Reyes throwing it up. Oh, not on the same page with Monroe. And there's been some uneasy early moments for Quinnipiac. Things that smooth. It could be nerves, could be. This is their first game here of the week.
No question. But again, you like that. Zimmerman on the offensive glass there, able to put the putback early on. As I stated, you want to keep it simple. The jitters. You haven't played in a while. And remember, their last game, they sat some guys out also.
Back tap to Weeks. That's a good point. Talking to those around the Quinnipiac program, they said they had some excellent days of practice leading up to this tournament, as Burton is fouled and will go to the line.
Just between you and I, Eddie, as much as I love practice, unlike Allen Iverson, practice, not the games. Not the game. Total different setting. Again, you want to be game ready. Good job here getting into the paint. That's one thing that Burton did very well last night.
And with Burton going to the line, Smooth, I want you to just further that point just a minute, because I feel like people in my seat, right, in the play-by-play seat, who maybe didn't have the big-time playing experience like you did, I think we make that point. But now take us into that player's perspective. Yes, practice is important, but you're saying really no substitute for the game situations.
Where there's a different energy in the game setting. Some guys don't practice well and play amazing in games, a la Allen Iverson. However, a number of guys really do a great job in games, don't play well in practice, and vice versa. So you want to practice well, get your reps in so we know exactly what's going on, but the setting in here changes everything. Fans and nerves and all those things really impact the game, and you want guys who can perform under the big lights.
After those 2 free throws from Burton, we go back the other way, and Monroe able to get on the board, moving without the ball.
And that's the way you want Monroe to get started. Get a layup in so you can feel good about scoring the basketball, and that 3-ball will come next.
A 9-6 Quinnipiac lead in the early going. What made Ryder so good in that second half comeback over Siena was their ability to get into the rim and the ability of Flash Burton, who carried him in the second half, able to knock one down.
Flash Burton from Philadelphia. You know this young man is tough as nails.
Made countless plays down the stretch last night for Ryder. Lewis looking for his offense.
It's a tough matchup for Flash there. Again, Lewis not using the screen, goes to the left, closes out at the rim.
Well, just look at the point guard matchup, right? Flash Burton is a true freshman. Savion Lewis has been at Quinnipiac for the better part of a decade. That is experience-wise, a big mismatch.
Well, you know Burton will not back down. This is where his Ryder teammates have to help him out, not allow anything to get into his head, because he had a big-time performance last night.
Otieno knocks one away. It'll stay on this end of the floor with the Bobcats leading by 3. You know, Lewis has up those Quinnipiac charts in a lot of different categories. Assists, he's way up there all time. He is the Division I leader, closing in on the school all-time record. But don't, like we said earlier, don't be fooled. He'll look for his offense.
He's about winning. He does what it needs to be done for this team to come up in the winning section.
Ingram going to come down with it in a three-point game. The offenses are working their way into our first quarterfinal matchup.
And it's so important for Ryder to take advantage of these opportunities.
Burton had it knocked away, and he traveled.
And you know what? That won't happen next season or the following season because he'll get a little bit stronger, got bumped in the paint area, looked at the official, not a foul. That's Division I basketball.
Rodriguez back for Ryder. Grant Randall, the 6'9" freshman, in for Quinnipiac. You know, Quinnipiac really has high major size.
High major size, great athleticism. You have guys who come in off their bench for their second unit who are ready to play.
Yeah, they brought Caden Bennett in as well. Really nice second season in Hamden for the sophomore from Texas. Good ball movement here. As now Lewis going to attack again. Lewis getting inside. 6 early points for Savion Lewis.
Excellent job spreading out the Ryder defense. Everyone's around the perimeter. Lewis quickly to the cup. No rim protection.
5-point Bobcat lead. Alvarez, now Rodriguez. Weeks is the Bronx leading scorer, second team all-league pick.
Had Ingram a couple of times right in the middle of the paint.
Alvarez too strong. And the rebound to Randall. Now that first media timeout, it was two teams that were still getting comfortable. This set of 4 minutes has gone the way of Quinnipiac. Reyes falls down. He's fouled as he battled Rodriguez for possession. And the foul will go on Ryder. 13-8.
Highly talented Iona team. You know this Ryder team will not back down. We saw their grit yesterday. We just discussed off the air. They just have to shoot the basketball much better, at least 55% or higher, in my opinion.
Especially when you are outsized, and Quinnipiac has just so many advantages statistically in this game. Shot clock winding down. Lewis to the rim again. 8 early points for Savion Lewis.
Again, Lewis putting the backpack on his back, taking the load, strong drive with the left and finish.
I think 6 of the 8 have been scored with his left hand too.
Going straight to the cup, taking advantage of opportunities.
Quinnipiac, after a bit of a sluggish start early, shooting almost 54%. As Weeks gets Ryder on the board from deep, they needed that.
Great answer from Weeks. Lefty, pretty stroke, feathery.
TJ Weeks, 14 points a game. Going to be so important tonight for Ryder. Here's Monroe to the pull-up.
And what did I tell you, Eddie? A layup always gets you going. Gets the layup, mid-range there. A nice-looking shot again. Best player in our league, player of the year.
Just under 18 points, 9 rebounds a game for the league player of the year. Ingram going to work. Kick out to Alvarez. Right back to Ingram. And he continues his solid play.
Big fan of that bump and grind. Great post up. Got himself good position, low position, 2 feet in the paint. In my opinion, bigs are going to score it or get fouled.
Doing that work against the graduate student Richie Springs. The 3 from Randall rims out. 17-13 in the first half. Weeks had the 3, instead goes to the drive, and he's fouled with 9:40 to go before halftime.
And this is good Ryder basketball. You love the post up, dribble drive action. Don't settle. If the 3 is there off the inside out or open look, take it, but you know your bread is buttered in the lane.
The Ryder was just relentless going to the rim last night against Siena. It's one of the keys you mentioned. They have to continue that play tonight.
Again, they had a strong advantage. However, I still like Tariq in the post against this Quinnipiac team.
Rodriguez. Nice look for Ingram.
Just like that, Eddie. Beautiful pass. And again, the big fella stuffs it home with 2.
Nice little mini run from the Bronx as they've made their last 3 from the floor to make it a 2-point game. Zimmerman, pull up from the free throw line. Tipped up a couple of times. Rebound. That one's off the mark from Bennett, but Quinnipiac just stays after it.
Great job attacking the glass. You had a number of guys going to the basket, and they caught Ingram on his way down from one of the rebounds to get the offensive tip in.
I heard Kevin Baggett say that in the post-game press conference last night. He said sometimes they just keep throwing it up at the rim because they know they have such great rebounders.
Oftentimes for certain teams, that's your best offense. Put it on the rim, let's go get it.
Ingram, as he continues to be the feature man for Ryder, and he'll go back to the free throw line.
Let's go back to the 90s, Eddie. Bump and grind. Put it into the big fella. Let him work. If he doesn't have it, get it back out and shoot the 3.
Last night's game was a little old school with Quinnipiac's size, with Ingram's effectiveness. We probably have it again tonight.
Eddie, it gets me so excited because nowadays everybody shoots the 3, and they probably don't have a license to do it. But when you have a guy like Ingram, didn't shoot a 3-pointer all night, but he controlled the basketball game for Ryder.
And what made that comeback truly special was they were down 13 in the second half. So typically, when you see that, you assume, oh man, they probably got hot, hit a bunch of threes. That wasn't the case.
We discussed it, Eddie. They stuck to their DNA. Oftentimes when you go down, teams start to panic. We need to hoist up threes. Our DNA is going inside. We want to play through Tariq Ingram, and they continue that, and they closed out the game with him with the bucket.
Ingram with that game-winning layup to cap that comeback. Quinnipiac has brought Paul Otieno back in for the first time. They've checked in to 6'5" junior Ryan Mabry. Mabry is the sharpshooter on this team and hit 4 threes in that regular season finale. They hope that gets him going.
Very good off dribble drive action. Again, he feeds off his teammates.
Bennett picks up his dribble, now Otieno. And an early touch for Mabry. Zimmerman, he'll step out and try one. A good rebound by Bennett. Man, they just skied for that one.
That's just an athletic play by Bennett. Take a look here. Again, the box out, face-up style, but Bennett going to the basket. Officials call that foul there. A lot of times they let that one go, Eddie.
Our first look at Tank Byard, the 6'8" senior from Atlantic City. One miss, second good for Otieno as Quinnipiac stays on the offensive glass.
Again, 2 guys, too aggressive for Ingram there. You had Monroe and Big Paul on the glass together.
Those two have been double-double machines. They're tied for the most double-doubles among teammates in the nation with Maryland's Julian Reese and Derek Queen. 27 double-doubles. 5-point Bobcats lead inside of 8 minutes to go. Rodriguez, step back 2. All Bobcats on the glass.
Like the substitution of Byard in the ball game to help out Ingram on the glass.
Monroe sets the feet, knocks it down.
And that's when he's super tough, Eddie. Again, balancing things out. In the paint, tip in, gets a layup, knock down the mid-range. Now the 3-pointer goes down for him.
He has added that element to his game from a season ago. 8-point Quinnipiac lead. Burton. Now Byard, going to try to back down Zimmerman. Goes to work down low. And it's Bennett to clear the board.
Like the post-up, just thought he rushed a little bit at the end.
Taken away. Here goes T.J. Weeks after the rip.
Zimmerman lost it. Those are the type of easy ones Ryder would love to get plenty of. Weeks with a nice lay to close it out.
Bennett going to turn the corner, get inside. He'll try it a second time, blocked away by Ingram. Burton navigating things. Now Weeks wants Ingram. Look at this matchup, Ingram and Otieno. The big man going to work. Old school matchup. Ingram with the left hand.
Come on, Eddie, take me back to 1993. MAC championship, I played in it. Bumping and grinding, no double team. How excited is Ingram to not see a double team coming. He can bump a ground. That's 3 or 4 dribbles. You rarely see bigs do that.
I haven't seen a play like that in a couple of years.
Wow.
4-point game. Otieno wants it back on the other side. He'll kick it out. Bennett, 3, bottom of the net.
Classic 90s basketball. In the paint, come back out, knock down the 3. I made a living in the night. Have a back-to-the-basket big who's able to do his thing, work, without shooting the 3. Nowadays, if you can't shoot the 3, there's not usually a place for you on the floor. But Tariq Ingram has made it clear on this Rider Basketball Club he belongs.
Well, and it's a great job by the coaches to recognize who the true facilitator is.
Yes,
and
indeed.
It's a big man, right? So, yes, that's not very 20-25, but you know what? It's effective for this Rider team.
Rider doing a really good job there. Big Paul on the box out.
Grant Randall called for the foul.
And Eddie is
excuse me, they call it on Tank Byard.
Yes, it's important to note when you get into playoff setting, tournament setting basketball, the game usually slows down. Therefore, you need someone who can post up.
Mabry, they'll look down low to Otieno.
Big Paul said, listen, I can score in the paint also.
29-20, Quinnipiac. A couple of times in this first half, they've went on runs and threatened to blow this game wide open. Riders had answers, though. Here's Weeks. Tough shot.
Weeks is so tough. Said it last night. He has an uncanny ability to get into the lane and earn free throws. No foul that time, but you can see why he gets to the free throw line.
Monroe to the one dribble pull-up. Loose ball. Who's going to get to it? Weeks wins the foot race in the open floor. Finishes again.
Once again, super crafty with the left hand.
And as soon as Quinnipiac took that 9-point lead, TJ Weeks said, hang on a second.
Second team all-conference performer. You know he has to be one of the guys with the answer.
Oh, Bennett left all alone.
Blown assignment, Weeks patting his chest. His fault. Looks like he was having a conversation with someone on this side of the floor and didn't get over to his man.
Now 2 threes for Caden Bennett. Eight-point lead, 32-24.
Bobcats showing zone here.
Cruz. He'll feed it down low to Byard. A little give-and-go look. And a foul on the miss as Byard was bumped.
All started with getting the ball in the paint.
3:26 to go here in the first half from Atlantic City. Quinnipiac, a 32-24 lead. All 3 for Bennett.
However, someone has to take a step back and do what needs to be done for the betterment of the team.
And the Bobcats have done that to the tune of a 15-5 league record this season. A tough defense on Weeks.
Weeks trying to draw contact, no foul.
Mabry going to hand to Bennett, and he has it going in the first half.
Why not? Again, he's made his 2 previous shots. Take the next one. He's on a heater. If you can, next time down, get him another shot.
Largest lead of the first half for Quinnipiac, an even 10. Riders going to go back to Ingram. They feature the big man. Oh, and they call an offensive foul. Well, he was battling Alexis Reyes, and they whistled Ingram for the foul.
Reyes doing a good job with his body. However, I'm going to question this one, Eddie. If that's Paul Antio, you don't call that foul big on big. And that's the point I was making a little bit earlier. Oftentimes in the league, you have guys who aren't legit post players guarding post players, and the officials make calls like that.
First foul on Ingram. The last 2.5 minutes of this half are going to be really important for Ryder.
Yes, indeed.
Reyes, now Mabry, 10 to shoot. Reyes over to Bennett. Bennett will try another one. And good box out by Alvarez. And a whistle. It'll go on Monroe.
Very good box out. That's one Monroe would probably want to get back after he didn't get the rebound. Hustle back on defense.
first foul on Monroe, and that'll be the 7th Quinnipiac foul. So it will send Jay Alvarez to the line for 1-1, an 80% free throw shooter.
Definitely important for Ryder to take advantage of opportunities at the free throw line.
Oh, and he misses the front end of it. Yeah, it's a great point you bring up, Smooth. Down 10. That's an opportunity to steal some points.
Yes, indeed. Can't leave that loose change on the table.
Reyes' three is off the mark. Alvarez tips the rebound, but it goes right to Bennett. Here's Reyes attacking the basket. Oh, he missed it. Got his second try, and he's fouled by Ruben Rodriguez.
Reyes stayed with it. Again, he had the nice lay, left it short. What goes back on the other side of the rim. Right now, the Bobcats going to the glass so hard. Anytime you have second opportunities, a scramble situation, defense not set, great time to drive. Didn't make it, but he stays with it.
So it'll send the senior from Roxbury, Massachusetts, Alexis Reyes, to the line. A 78% free throw shooter.
Reyes, another guy, great size, good athlete on a number of teams in this conference. He could be a star, but understanding his role on this Bobcat team makes them so good.
Third-year player at Quinnipiac. Makes it a 12-point game. You have to think, and this is stating the obvious, but Ryder needs to get this to single digits before halftime. Here's Byard. Oh, among the trees, has it blocked away. Still 16 to shoot. Ingram moving quickly. Ingram and one.
There you go, big fella. Again, go straight to the basket. Bulldoze, Bogart style. Get yourself to the line. Looking for an and one here. No doubt in his mind, Tariq's going to the basket. Goes right through Monroe. Again, Monroe not set. That's a foul.
And it's a significant foul because it's the second on the player of the year, Amari Monroe.
And he was starting to get into a nice flow.
So he will exit. Grant Randall makes a return. Ingram, chance to get it back to single digits. And he's been so good in the last game and a half.
Big fella has a soft touch at the free throw line also.
Otieno's made his return for Quinnipiac, as has Zimmerman. Cruz and Burton return for Ryder. Bennett got the feet set. Oh, that's pretty.
In that case there, Burton did not need to double team. He leaves Bennett. You know he's on a heater. Don't leave the young man, but he knocks down another three.
Into double figures is Caden Bennett. Weeks creating the shot for Cruz, but he stepped out of bounds.
Used to see one of those per game. Guys not aware of where they are on the floor. But again, look at Burton. He falls back into that lane. You know Bennett is hot. Understand the scout. Understand time and score. What's going on in the basketball game.
Here's how you could tell he's hot and what the replay didn't show. As that ball was being passed, he already set his feet.
I'm going to tell you another reason that he didn't hit anything but the bottom of the net. No rim.
Absolutely. 11 points, including 3 threes here in the first half. As Reyes continues his hard work, he'll shoot more free throws with 48.1 seconds remaining in the first.
Strong move by Reyes, taking advantage of his size. He's getting a little chippy right now. I've noticed a couple of guys going back and forth at each other.
It's win and go home, right? These two teams, and it's been a physical first half. Quite frankly, that's the way both of these teams want to play. So you almost think with everything at stake tonight, it was almost inevitable at some point. That's okay.
I like the chippiness. I think it's an advantage for Ryder, obviously, as the underdog. It's important for the Bobcats to understand you don't want anyone to go over the edge. But in past years, Eddie, I'm going to make this clear, outside looking in, the Bobcats had maybe received the tag of being a little soft, but I think this team is ultra tough.
Well, I couldn't agree, and maybe the previous incarnation a few years ago
yes.
would have had maybe that label, but not this collection of Bobcats.
This group here reminds me of the old heads at the park. You go to play at the park, there's an old head group. They know how to play, they know how to win, and they bring it every single time.
Yeah, they're bigger, they're stronger, and they're smarter, right?
Yes.
Weeks, catch and shoot. Oh, in and out. Man, that would have been big for Ryder, and instead Quinnipiac can take the final shot of the half.
Definitely a big shot there. Love this timeout call.
14-point.
This were made by Siena, which was great for the young fellas.
Absolutely. Bennett watched closely by Rodriguez. Lewis out. He's been out in the last few minutes with 2 fouls as well. Final 5. Mabry, top of the key. Going to go to work, going to go to the rim and get it to fall.
Wow. And you want to push him off the three-point line and make him drive, and he closes it out high off the glass.
Mabry buzzer-beating layup. A technical was assessed to Ryder head coach Kevin Baggett. It leads to these Monroe free throws, and the player of the year will shoot another one. He's an 81.6% free throw shooter. So the Bobcats will get the advantage of 2 extra on the board, and now an 18-point lead as we're ready to resume play.
Well, again, if you're Ryder, hopefully that can spark you. Coach did not seem happy at all at halftime, understanding his team needs to be more physical, play through contact, and not worrying about the officials.
The top seed, ultra impressive in that first half. 50% from the floor, Monroe. That one left short. Otieno back to the line.
Paul doing a great job carving out space because Monroe on the straight line drive. Ingram has to come over in a help side position, leaves Paul wide open for the rebound. Take a look at that. Again, he's super strong. You want to have that matchup with him and Ingram, taking him off the glass because someone else, he's going to back up underneath the rim.
Working his way to another double-double. Now 7 points, 7 rebounds. Also a team-high 4 assists in that first half.
And we talked about player development last night. When Paul came into the league, this guy was just going to the glass to rebound. Look at his touch from the free throw line now. He has offensive moves, again, stays in the weight room. That's what you like to see in the MAC conference.
Yeah, it's been really fun. There's been a few players in the league that fall into this category. Quinnipiac's got a couple of them, and Savion Lewis and Paul Otieno. It's been fun to watch them develop.
No question. When they stay, they're good for the league.
Here is Weeks, strong drive, and he is fouled. Hit the ground pretty hard. Good to see that he's okay.
Like that a lot for Weeks. Going to the basket, drawing contact. Coach Baggett made it clear that, listen, we may not be getting the calls we want. Go to the basket, make the officials call something.
Well, that's going to be the Ryder strategy right here in the second half because there are now 4 Bobcats with 2 fouls, and they're significant. Monroe, Lewis, Otieno, and also Richie Springs, a reserve big man, but their big 3 each have 2 fouls.
That's the core we discussed coming into the ball game. However, the beauty of this Bobcat team, they have guys who come in from the second unit who are willing and ready to play.
That's a great point. The depth of this team really on display, and it's what makes them different. You know, there's a lot of good starting 5s plus maybe 1 or 2 in this conference, but it's how deep can your bench go with effective players. The
difference between good mid-major teams and average is your second unit.
60 seconds gone by in the second. Monroe, kick out. Reyes for 3. Monroe on the glass.
Again, you got to help Ingram out on that glass. He and Paul will X each other out. Someone else has to put a body on Monroe.
The lead has grown to 20. And the regular season champs are starting to flex their muscles. Rodriguez, that's a good look to Ingram.
Beautiful pass by Rodriguez. Again, drawing the double team, pocket pass inside.
And because Ryder has been so aggressive going to the rim smooth, it really puts the emphasis on this end of the floor for them.
They need stops.
Here's Lewis. Had the offense going in the first half, did Savion Lewis. Zimmerman, good drive. Otieno cleaning it up. Can't get it to fall. Weeks with the rebound. Here's Burton. Oh, quick as a flash.
I like it. Great move by Burton. The hesitation. And again, the change of speed, able to get to his right hand.
Flash Burton makes it a 16-point game.
Oh, that's a big-time name.
Monroe deflected. Otieno lost it. 3-on-2 if Ryder hurries. Rodriguez with the left. Can't get it to fall.
Too much English on it.
Oh, and Burton then commits the foul on Reyes to prevent the fast break.
Again, Rodriguez going strong to the basket. Yes, Eddie, I'm thinking the same thing. I thought that was a clear path foul. The officials not thinking the same way we were. Ryder fortunate.
And Burton able to stop that fast break. Lewis going to use the screen. Setting up Monroe, top of the key, and the player of the year has it going.
And Lewis takes so much pride in his passes. He puts it right in the pocket area for Monroe to knock down that three ball.
Took some time to get into the flow of this game, and Amari Monroe didn't need too much time in the second half, up to 17 points. And a Bobcat steal. Lewis, the look away to Zimmerman. Lewis is fouled. Good activity by Savion Lewis.
Zimmerman, he is a high flyer. I think he miscounted his steps on this one. Didn't get up high enough to throw that down, but Lewis with the follow-up. Again, this guy does all the small things, makes winning plays.
$19-point lead. Lewis, quick inbounds. Reyes. And Weeks with the board. They feature Ingram. Going to work on Otieno. Now they run the double team. Weeks, too short. Offensive rebound. Here's Burton. He'll try one from deep. Reyes snatches it out of the air.
Strong rebound by Reyes.
Lewis. Oh, look at the bounce pass to Monroe. That was pretty. And Amari Monroe will shoot two.
Again, Savion Lewis is so crafty at that point guard position. The ultimate facilitator. He wants to get guys going. Not looking for his offense, but he will call his number. Rarely shoots the three ball, but he's looking for other guys, and these guys feed off of him. Great job, Monroe, running the floor because he knows he'll get it.
Well, he's got 5 assists and really should have, or his 3 assists, excuse me. He should have 5, right? Because the Zimmerman play and that pass to Monroe, if he didn't get fouled, would have most likely led to a bucket as that lead is back to 20.
And Eddie, if you watch his passes, he's making sure it's in a shooting area. You don't have guys going down to their feet or jumping up after a pass from Lewis. You're ready to get the ball in your hands, shot ready, hands and feet. You're going to knock some shots down.
Well, you don't put up the assist numbers that Savion Lewis has without that ability. Came into play this week with 580 career assists. 4 minutes gone by in the second, and Ryder in need of a run in the quarterfinals. Weeks, Burton, pull-up jumper.
That's the pull-up he was making yesterday.
Here's Monroe. It's a great point you bring up, and it's the difference between a defender getting a hand in your face and not. Lewis to the jump shot. All Ingram down low. Ryder needs something in transition. Rodriguez will pull up. That's a good-looking shot.
Beautiful pull-up by Rodriguez. You want early offense right now, Eddie. Again, sometimes the post-up won't be there. If you can get down before the defense is set and you get a shot you like, take advantage of it.
Ryder, pressure, now falling back, 17 to shoot for Quinnipiac. Lewis into the lane. Here's Monroe to the one dribble pull-up. Reyes on the glass again. And he's spun and he's fouled.
Reyes doing some great work on the...
Truly paramount to their success.
Griffin, thank you so much. You know, as Griffin was talking, Smooth, did you see Lewis on the bench getting coached up? You love that for a player who's played as many games as he has, still over there taking up everything the coaching staff has.
Never stop learning. Be a sponge. He's the coach on the floor. The crew respects him, and you can understand why.
We got to talk to him post-game and ask him when his playing career's done, right beyond school. I'm sure he wants to maybe give coaching a shot.
Looks just like a coach. Coaching material right there.
21-point Quinnipiac lead. Otieno picks up his third foul. And while the Bobcats have seen some foul trouble mount, Riders really struggled on this end of the floor, Smooth, and going to have to put together good possessions in a row. That's a good start with Burton.
No doubt about it. Getting to that mid-range, understanding where your strength is.
Mabry, the throw ahead to Monroe. He'll return it to Mabry. Not afraid to put it on the floor. Has to throw it to Bennett, and then Weeks got a hand on it. Loose ball. Weeks dives for it. And he just has to call timeout.
Great job by Weeks. Had his back turned to the play. Had the instincts at the last moment to come up with that steal.
Quinnipiac, Pinty, your broadcast crew for this first quarterfinal. And Chris, we've been treated to a performance so far by the top seed that shows you why they were the best team in the league, as Ingram will try to bring Ryder back.
Excellent call coming out of that timeout, getting the ball right in the paint. But you go right back to what you do well. Again, you like when you have a stoppage in play and you can get something good. Tariq, great post up. When he's that deep, tough to guard him. Underrated entry pass. A lot of young players don't get the ball into the post as well as the pass because you don't use the post as much.
Ingram can't get the free throw to go. 16 points and 6 rebounds. That's after 19 points and 13 boards last night.
Big time effort.
Caden Bennett's made his return. Hot shooting first half for Bennett. Reyes going to take Burton down to the block to the turnaround. High arcing shot falls for Reyes.
Ooh, that is a tough shot. Again, Reyes, as I stated earlier, Eddie, he would be a starter on a number of teams in this conference.
Yeah, he's kind of the prime example of a player sacrificing personal stats for the team.
Toughest thing to do in all the sports is win a chip. Somebody has to sacrifice.
Burton lost it momentarily, does keep possession. Down low, West Ingram. That's a good look to Weeks.
No doubt. No look pass into the post area. You like to see guys get on the floor and make an immediate impact.
Advanced up the sideline with under 13 to go. Springs going to hand off to Monroe. Quinnipiac can afford to be patient. The big lead. Bennett to the rim again.
Strong drive. Again, there was some contact. No foul call. Play right through it.
Now 13 for Bennett. It's been Ingram and Weeks to lead Ryder so far. Burton going to work. Lost it. Loose ball. 4 to shoot. Rodriguez has to hoist it up. Loose ball again, and a rebound taken by Monroe.
Good job going after that rebound. Rebound is wanting it, Eddie. A lot of guys don't want it as much. I like that Monroe went after that ball. It was on the baseline.
Well, it seemed like it was being deflected around, and Monroe said enough of this. Mabry's 3 rims out. Out of bounds, it'll stay here with 11:46 to go.
On the line in what could have been his last game. You're starting to see that now on the defensive end. They just need to make some more buckets.
Now, Griffin, we appreciate it with Quinnipiac up 19 Monroe lost it on the way up, got it back and put it in, and smooth. While Griffin talked about Ryder needing some buckets, it's the offensive end for Quinnipiac where they're starting to separate.
Well, again, Ryder needs buckets, and they have to get stops.
Bobcats look like they're sitting in that zone defense with a 21-point lead. Ingram, that's a great idea. And they say no one touched it, so a turnover.
Again, a tough pass. You love that the ball goes inside the paint area. That's the best way to attack the zone. But because Ryder doesn't shoot the three very well, you know, it's a good look to have that zone defense.
Yeah, Bronx team that comes into play shooting 31% from deep. Bennett's three, too strong. The rebound, Nicole McCabe. Weeks for three. That's a big one. Ryder needed that one from their leader.
Weeks said, well, listen, I can shoot the three, knocks it down. Can they string together a stop and basket?
Zimmerman exploding the other way.
All rookie performer. Again, in transition, he's at his best.
Quinnipiac being aggressive, even with the big lead. Burton going to get inside, going to try to use the left. Tipped a few times. Springs the rebound.
Good box out, strong rebound by Springs. Another guy coming off your bench, second unit performance.
A second unit, but big time experience. He was on the UConn national championship game, national championship team a couple years ago. As Lewis will go back to the line. Good awareness by Savion Lewis with that first row photography crew over there.
Yes. Great job keeping his balance. He's had some issues with ankles. Glad he didn't turn it, but love the spurt right there. Getting that quick move, strong to the basket. This guy here, again, he sets you up with the crisp passes, then he sees the opening, goes strong to the bucket there, earns himself 2 free throws. And you talked about Springs, played at UConn. Now this guy sometimes gets a DMP, making sacrifice. You know the talent's there if he was on a UConn basketball team. So again, a loaded club here. You can only play 5 at a time, but there are a number of guys you know on the bench who would love to be on the floor.
1 for 2 for Lewis. And as we move past the midway point of the second half, it's getting to be that point of the game where Ryder needs one of those explosive 10-12-0 runs, starting to slip away. Ingram, nice look to Cruz, good pass to McCabe, and he'll shoot free throws.
And they're sticking to keeping that ball in the paint area. With that being said, I like it, but you do need some perimeter shots at this stage. You need to make a couple of threes to get this lead down.
Well, the 2 threes Ryder's made tonight have both come from Weeks. He and Ingram leading the way with 16 points apiece.
Cruz can shoot it. He made some big buckets last night also. Again, your perimeter has to balance out your post play.
Another free throw for the 6'8 freshman from Miami, Cole McCabe.
Love the minutes he's giving you, that he's on the floor. Strong, big, soft touch.
Offensive rebound, Rodriguez. Weeks, catch and shoot 3 again for TJ Weeks.
One of the 3 times, best times to shoot the three-pointer. In transition, off in and out, or scramble situation like Weeks did there.
And you love Weeks just taking it upon himself to bring Ryder back.
Step in 3.
Lewis in, kick out, Zimmerman in and out. Here goes Weeks. Can Ryder string together some good possessions? Rodriguez to the pull-up again. Loose ball saved in bounds by Byron. Cruz, Weeks, another one. Offensive rebound, Byard. Down low, McCabe all alone. And the foul called on the floor with 8:51 to go. A little energy spurt for the Bronx.
You like that fight back. Again, they're not giving up, crashing the glass, ideally in a situation right there, you get that three to go down. It goes around the perimeter here, but you get it right inside if you're Ryder. Oh, I thought he was shooting there, Eddie. Taking it out.
It looked like it initially, but the official that made the call was emphatic that it was on the floor.
Got it. It gives Ryder an opportunity to maybe get something from the perimeter, but I like the ball to get to paint touch first.
Here is Cruz. Had a big game last night, 14 points against Siena. Has yet to score tonight.
Made some big buckets from the outside.
This would be a big one. Cruz, front rim. Monroe tips the rebound to Reyes. Here's Lewis working on Cruz. Finding the cutting Zimmerman.
Wow. Two things on that play, Eddie. Lewis doing a great job not going out of bounds, being strong with the basketball. Great cut by Zimmerman, playing through contact. He may have been fouled, still finishing.
You know if you're a teammate of Savion Lewis, just keep moving without the ball.
Keep your hands ready.
Byard. Oh, he finds McCabe.
Great cut. Now Ryder needs to get a stop.
Zimmerman double teamed right in front of us and a foul. Physical foul at that.
Hard double team by Rodriguez. If you're Zimmerman and if you're the Bobcats right now, be strong with the basketball.
Years of basketball when the Atlantic 10 tournament was here, and that's really when he fell in love with the game. So very cool experience for Tank and his family here today.
It's a great story, Griffin, and the fact that Byard's college career, it took him out to Arizona to start at Cochise College and junior college smooth, then Alcorn State. Happy it's at Ryder and happy he can have these moments.
Oh, that's a great look, being able to play in your hometown, getting tickets for people who enjoyed watching you play. Great job by Tank.
He'll defend Monroe on this possession as Reyes' shot is off the mark. And Burton. Here's the time of the game for Ryder, Smooth, between now and the under 4. Can they make a run?
So important. I think the magic number is 10. They can get it to 10 around 5. They're in business.
Weeks has had the hot hand the last couple of times. Now Burton with 10. Gonna go to work. Burton to the pull-up jumper.
Oh, he's so good off the bounce, mid-range with the pull-up. You love to see that from young players, not settling for three all the time or trying to get to the cup.
15-point game now. And now Quinnipiac can afford to be patient in this first quarterfinal tonight.
And the guy you feel comfortable with the basketball, Savion Lewis.
Monroe lost it momentarily. Good play by Byard. Ryder gets the turnover. Now they find Weeks. Big three. It's short.
Late contest by Monroe.
Yeah, Weeks didn't look as comfortable as he'd been on his previous shots. Otieno battling McCabe down low. He's going to go to work.
Talk to me, Paul. Again, the settling of him getting the ball in the post. We talked about his development. Freshman and sophomore season, I don't know if he was able to do that.
No, you can see it each year. He's gotten better. First team all-league selection. That's a good-looking shot on the baseline for McCabe.
Beautiful touch. Straight up, straight down.
Yeah, looking like another MAC player back in the day. Looking like Rick Smits. Here's Zimmerman. Oh, goodness. Zimmerman was trying to throw the highlight reel, and he's fouled.
Well, I made it clear Zimmerman is a high flyer. He attacks that rim straight out of NYC. Almost lost it there. He takes off at the MAC logo. Again, when you're in attack mode, you get the benefit of the doubt. But it looks like that might have been a questionable one, Eddie. Thought McCabe stepped in there. You got to give guys some credit for stepping in because a lot of guys won't do it nowadays.
especially when a player has a head of steam like Zimmerman did. Ingram will make his return. McCabe gave Ryder good minutes, and he'll exit.
Again, the magic number is 10. Can you get it to 10?
The Zimmerman free throws make it 17, just under what's been done before them.
Well, Eddie, there's pressure on the group, but I believe Coach Pecor and a guy like Lewis, they have the ability to take the pressure off. Take a look at it. You have the Coach of the Year, Player of the Year, a first-teamer, all rookie. So you have all that you need to possibly win it. So there's a certain amount of pressure on the group.
Yeah, and they've embraced it really all season long. Strong drive by Weeks.
Weeks does such a great job coming back to his left hand.
15. Ryder's gotten it down to this number a few times, but each time Quinnipiac has had an answer.
Trying to get it to 10, around 3+ if possible.
Lewis, veteran, being patient. Down to Otieno with 5 to shoot. Reyes checks the shot clock. Burton with a block right to Byard, and the shot clock expired. And Ryder gets a stop. And smooth. They're inching closer in this one.
Solid defensive stop. I can see Ryder players wanting that one to play through. Looks like they may have had a layup. The official stopped it for a shot clock violation, which gives them credit for the good defensive stop. But in this case here, you still need to score the basketball.
Been Ingram and Weeks to carry him. They've combined for 37. Burton off the mark. Reyes down low.
Lewis doing a really good job coming off that screen, making that a tough shot for Burton.
Ryder a big advantage on the board, plus 12, or excuse me, Quinnipiac with a plus 12 advantage on the glass. Monroe working against Byard. Zimmerman keeps moving without the ball. And a whistle. He'll go to the line when we return with Quinnipiac up 15. Smooth game to watch. And Quinnipiac snapped Fairfield's long winning streak earlier this regular season. Now, earlier, I feel like this has happened one other time.
Yes.
A technical foul was issued to Ryder's Zion Cruz. So that's why more free throws are happening here. But the point from earlier, man, if the seeds hold true and it's 1 Fairfield and 2 Quinnipiac in the women's final, that is going to be appointment television.
Must-see television. However, Siena, good basketball team. They'll have something to say about it. Marist, they're tough also. These other teams do not want to see that happen. However, outside looking in as a fan, that will definitely be a good one.
Yeah, and the story is a great one, whether they play or someone upsets them. But I think all of us that cover the league know they both deserve to play in the NCAA tournament, regardless of who wins the championship here in Atlantic City. But, man, that final would be awesome.
Both teams have sensational regular seasons.
On the men's side, this is our first of 4 quarterfinals. Good move by Weeks. He's up to 23. Later tonight, it'll be the 2-seed and newcomer Merrimack to take on another fairly newcomer in Sacred Heart. The 2-versus-7 matchup, that's going to be a fun one.
No question. Looking forward to seeing Bud Clark.
Lewis again to the rim. 75-58. You mentioned it. Monroe was the player of the year. Bud Clark has a case, too.
No question. Again, saw Bud Clark live earlier in the year. He's a musician with the basketball. Very twitchy. Gets to wherever he needs to. In my personal opinion, at that time, I thought he would have been the player of the year.
Ingram tip-in. 15-point game. And a foul immediately on the inbound. Yeah, when you and I saw that Merrimack team earlier in the season, at that point I thought he was probably the leader in terms of player of the year. Monroe finished the year incredibly well and really was just consistent all season, but you can't go wrong with really any of those first-team picks.
No question about it. With those two guys, would have thought it was a tight race, but was told that in this case here, Monroe was the guy from start to finish. However, Clark's still on that first unit, and I talked about this, Eddie. You have certain guys who have a chip on their shoulder. Bud may come into this thing saying, listen, I should have been player of the year, and go bananas.
Well, and Merrimack kind of has that. They've been in now 2 different leagues since moving up to Division I. They've had success, first in the Northeast Conference and now in the MAC, but they're still searching for an elusive first berth. They had that transition period when you can't play for a tournament, so you hope that for them, they continue to make a splash, as unfortunately back the other way, Flash Burton hit the ground hard and has yet to get up with 2:41 to go in the game.
Excellent job by the officials to stop the play there. Burton goes into the lane. Actually, Lewis steps back. Think maybe his feet got tangled up. He goes down hard. In a situation like this, you would just want to make sure both teams don't overreact. I love that the officials stopped it there.
Last night over Siena.
Thought he played with a chip on his shoulder last night. Didn't see his name on any all-rookie team. And again, a lot of guys come into this tournament with that thought process.
Yeah, and a name because of the performance and the way he ended the season to keep an eye on, hopefully for next year, and Ryder.
And you know you're going to have his name high on the board as a sophomore.
Lewis having a great offensive game. How about 14 points for Savion Lewis?
And Savion Lewis just orchestrating a magnificent game for the Bobcats.
They're just so tough. There's not one thing that you can kind of take away from them. They do a little bit of everything well. It'll stay on this end of the floor. Deep team, talented team, and it's been on display here in our first quarterfinal.
In our opening, I talked about everyone starring in their role, which is so important. Lewis knows he's the orchestrator. When my number's called, I'll take it. But for the most part, I'm trying to get everyone else involved.
Monroe all over the glass. 8 rebounds to go along with a game-high 23 points for Amari Monroe.
And that's why he's the player of the year. And it was a quiet 23 and 8.
Quinnipiac 95 seconds away from another semifinal berth. And they'll await to see who they'll play. Lewis to the left hand. They'll meet the winner of the early game tomorrow. And a game that you've played in and you know a little something about when Iona takes on Manhattan in the 4-5 game.
Ooh, that should be a good one, Eddie. I'm on the sideline for that one. Looking forward to it.
And a timeout here for some to deserved applause and hugs from their teammates after tremendous efforts here in the MAC tournament.
Tremendous efforts here in the MAC tournament. As you see those guys going to the side with the hugs, reflecting on their careers at Ryder.
Under a minute to go. Weeks going down the line with Ingram, hugging their teammates. Great win last night over Siena, and just ran out of gas this evening against the top seed. The story tonight, though, is this Quinnipiac team as McCabe scores again. And the top seed in the league is going to win their 20th game of the season, Smooth, and they were impressive.
This crew is on a mission, one game at a time. They got the first one out of the way.
We talked about it when we were looking at the keys. It's one game at a time, and I know that chip on their shoulder from last year's tournament was growing. But you get a little exhale when you get that first one under your belt.
The first one is usually the toughest, considering you're the higher seed. You haven't played just yet. The team you're facing had one under their belt, and they played it out perfectly with a big-time win.
Final 7.7. They put a couple tenths of a second extra on the clock. And after Ryder's win in the 8-9 game last night, they run into a buzzsaw here tonight in the top seed, Quinnipiac. Moving on to the semifinals and impressive.